Hello everybody, it's Dragana from Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be the last video in this year, and I thought it would be perfect opportunity for me to show you my journal that I have been working on since January this year. So it's a whole year in one book, and it's huge. It's a really big journal. It started off as a spiral bound sketchbook, and I called it my healing journal, and it got really thick. I had to take it apart and put it all together again, make hinges, make the cover, but I used those pages that were in that original book. And I have to say, this is the first time I've done something like this where I actually made an entry or a spread at least once a month. Perhaps I skipped 1 month. I think I skipped the month of June, and sometimes I would do 2 or 3. And it's a journal that I decide to work on when I feel like certain emotions that need to be resolved, whether I'm sad or happy or whatever. And that's why I call it my healing journal. And it's something that I do for myself to remind myself about the lessons I've learned through these emotions or things that happened to me in my life. So it is a journal of things that happened to me in the past year and how I responded to those things. So I hope you enjoy this flip through. I'll just quickly show you the outside of the journal. I used the fabric that I had for a while, and it's kind of really interesting. And here I put a crochet piece that I've done by myself probably 30 years ago, and I had it in my stash, and I thought it's a perfect fit for this journal, and I really love it. Now this little piece was done by my mother-in-law, and this was done by my grandmother. And now here I have some charms that I put, like intuition, balance. It's supposed to be choose happiness, but it's hyacinth on the other side. I'll have to paint that over because it doesn't really apply. But I had this and I wanted to use it. And then here we have things happen. Yeah, things happen in life and you just have to deal with them, basically. And I kind of, as you can see, joined those pages together with some paper and some fabric, and then I glue them onto this spine, and it closes like this. And I wish I have a pin of some sort to close it, but so far I've been using this and it works. It's holding it together. So you open it like that. There's some pockets here, and here we go. It is a really bulky journal. Hardly any writing space because I'm not going to go back and write things here. What I wanted to do to it, I already done it. And basically I liked making my work really thick and 3D, so that's why it ended up being so thick. There's not that many pages, it's just that it's kind of really bulky. And when I say, I just want to show you, a book was something like this, and after 2 or 3 entries it became impossible to close. That's why I had to take it apart and put it back together again. Now after I've completed this, I've done the cover obviously, and I just added some extra pockets, and here the front and the back I included some of the things that my friends sent to me, perhaps. I think this is from Steffi, this as well, and some letters. And I made this by myself, but I decided to keep it. It says, "No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart." It's a fabric collage and I really like it, so I thought I'll keep it there. I think this is also from Steffi, a gift from her. And over here I have also some letters from people that sent me some of the little things, like this one and that one and that was sent to me. This as well from Karen, and things that I also made, and then maybe some cards, and I have a few more things that I want to put here but I forgot. All right, so we start here with January 2022. So this was almost a year ago. because it's the end of December. It's going to be 1st of January in a couple of days. So this is a song, I think, called Starry Starry Night. It's about an artist, Van Gogh, and at the time I had it in my head for some reason, and maybe because I watched that movie, but it was just playing in my head, and I took that old typewriter that I was given and just typed a few lyrics from that song, and I decided to keep it there, and I wrote Happy New Year. So that was the January. Later on in the year I added this. This is a postcard I received for my birthday actually, which is in April, but later on I put it there for the month of January, and I included this tag and just have a few things there that I've written to myself. And so that is the January entry. Now we come to the February here. I think this is February, is it? No, this is still January, sorry. And this entry, I don't know how it came to be. My brother, I'm very close with my brother, although we live on separate continents. He lives in Australia and I live here in Europe. And he was having some trouble, and I don't know, we are not twins, but we are very connected. So every time he feels or goes through some troubles in his life, I can actually feel it, and I could sense that something was wrong. And then I asked him about it, and he told me, and I was very kind of felt for him, you know. And I didn't know how to express it. I didn't know what to say or what to do, so I just basically started doing this entry, and it was like a message for him: don't give up. And here it says B, that's his initial. And here I wrote, dear brother, love is worth fighting for, because he was obviously having problems in that area. And I just put a little note here as well for him. And you know, this is a junk journal, or could be art journal, but it's also almost like art therapy for me. Like, I work through the issues and I try to turn them around and make sense of it, and it just sometimes helps me feel better about things that are happening. So that was that one. Now we go into the February. Okay, so here we have a little entry which says, too much thinking disturbs the inner peace. That is me, and I left this one blank. I guess I was supposed to write something there, but I just did not, and now I don't know what I was supposed to write, but I left it there anyway. And this is the actual ticket from a boat ride that I took in Prague a few years ago. And here it's another entry, and I really enjoyed working on this one, and it was all about the joy. And it says here, I open myself to the joy in my life. Yeah, we all deserve happiness, we all deserve to feel joy. So I was just celebrating that. And this is here like a pocket. I had this, I don't know, I think probably painted this, and then I used a die cut of some sort, and then I laminated it. But color wise I thought it went really well there. Okay, now is this still, it's still February, I think, yes. And he says, I let go of my disappointments. And it is something that I don't really wish to discuss here in the video, but I decided to let it go. Something that I wanted so badly, and it just never happened for me. And I decided I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not gonna be sad about it. It is what it is, and it was just meant to be. It's destiny. So I accepted my destiny. Okay, and here again I have this. So these little quotes are from a book called Aura Soma or something like that. I had it. It's about healing with color and light. And it had a lot of these sentences that were really kind of inspirational, and I use those in the journal. This is here, I am whole, I integrate every aspect. And it's just a little butterfly, you know, nothing really too elaborate. It's just something that sometimes I put together just to express whatever I'm feeling and to make myself feel better. Now here, this is still, I think, yeah, It's 21st of February, yeah. So here I have this. This is a photo I took a while ago, and I distressed it to make it look really old. And it says here I'm a wildflower. Here's art, and here instruments. So I was obviously enjoying the art aspect of this, you know, like painting and drawing, and kind of really immersing myself into my work. Just a little tag. This is a painted envelope, and it says here, I know that I know nothing. So accepting the fact that we don't really know anything. When you think about it, we might think we know things, but you know, it's just the humility. You know, you don't know everything, and it's okay. We don't have to. We'll just still be able to exist and operate without knowing everything. That's okay. We don't have to know everything. And now here, this is 11th of March, I put there. This was, as you can see even by the colors, really dark. And I think this was right after, or a couple of weeks after the war in Ukraine started. And I was really having a really tough time dealing with the fact. One of the reasons is because I experienced war firsthand here 30 years ago. Strapped in Sarajevo for 2.5 years in a siege city with no electricity, no running water, barely any food. And I survived. I was very young. I was in love, and it was kind of easier. But the whole thing just reminded me of that trauma of my life that I thought I put back behind me. And I was really struggling. And you can see with the colors that I used, they're really dark. I was in a really dark place. And I said here, what do bees have to say about this? I mean, why bees? It could be anything. It's humans that are constantly causing the trouble for every form of life on this planet, and that upsets me. You know, the violence upsets me, and the things that are happening just really upsets me. And maybe that's about that. And then here, this is from a song from a local artist. And if I was to translate this, it says, if I was somebody, or like if I was somebody in the power who could change things, what would I do? And that's just the start of that song. I just had it playing in my head at the time, and you know. But like I said, working through my issues like this on the paper has helped me in the past, and it still does. And perhaps even for you, if you have something that you're dealing with that's upsetting to you, sometimes art can help. And it can be in the form of junk journal. This is art as well. So, you know, just put down pictures or put down the words or whatever. Just make yourself feel better, and might help you deal with whatever it is going on with you in your life. Okay, moving on. Now the spring, yeah, the April, my favorite month. I think here I was experimenting with those faux botanical papers, and obviously the nature's waking up from its long winter slumber, and I actually admire that. It says here, in the field of roses, be a wildflower. Basically, be yourself, and don't be afraid to be different. Just be original, be unique, be yourself. This is 19th of April, 22. Okay, and here, the dreamer in me always wins. Okay, to see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower. I just love wildflowers. There's also a photograph that I took, and I distressed it to make it look old. I really like it, and that's one of those faux botanical handmade papers. I just put it there to remind myself. I just like to look at it from time to time. So this was April. Now here, this is still April. Yeah, this is the 29th of April. It was right on my birthday. And here we have joy. I've done this little collage a while ago, so I just glued it there. And then here, it says, we are all of the same source. And it says here, I am just an eternal soul trapped in a cycle of death and rebirth, cursed with inability to remember what I was and where I come from before I came into this world, and more importantly, why am I here now? Yeah, something I wrote a while ago, and I just decided to use it here. Okay, now here we have, I think this was May, another lovely month of May, and I was doing that eco dyeing, no cooking method, and I used the papers from that. And here we have, yeah, the 13th of May. That's just one of those papers. It still has that wonderful color. This is a printable of that those papers, but that's the original, and I can report that even since May it is still purple. It didn't change the color, so I'm very happy about that. It says here, I have no limits apart from those I set for myself. So I was really optimistic at the time, I guess. I was trying to lift up my spirits and stay positive as much as I could. And it says here, grow. And I think it was at the time, suddenly my channel started growing a bit faster, and I decided to join some of the Facebook groups, that kind of junk journal Facebook groups, and I got inspired by all the talented people there, and I didn't really know about these groups, so it just opened up a whole new world to me. So I was really happy about that at the time. Now here I used my old drawing, and this drawing is actually about the dream I had of those 3 butterflies that came and rested on my head. So it was just really, I don't know, it just felt something liberating. That's why I put liberate here. I just felt really good, I think, at the time. And that is the month of May. Now here, I don't know what date it is, but 8th of July it says here. So I guess I skipped the month of June. I don't know why. I just didn't really feel like doing anything, I suppose. Or I just forgot. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but that's what it is. It says here, whatever I do makes the love in my life grow. And I was really inspired to do an entry about my dog Nora. Nora is a Siberian Husky cross, and she's gorgeous. She's got one blue eye. I love her. I hope you can see that. She's my girl, and I'm just grateful for her being in my life, basically. It's, you know, if you own a dog, you'll know what I mean. We have 3 dogs and 5 cats, and I don't know how many fish, but I love each and every one of them equally. But Nora is just something special. I'm really bonded with her from the day one. She was 1 month old when she came to us, and I had to feed her like you would feed a baby with a bottle. She was still really small, so I really bonded with her. And it says here, love is like wildflowers. It's often found in the most unlikely places. Yeah, so that is about Nora and the month of July. Now we come here. This is still July. Okay, and my hibiscus plant started flowering, and it was just gorgeous. So I just took a photo and I put it there, and it says bloom where you planted. Yeah, like I lived overseas for a number of years, but I only started feeling better once I moved back to where I was born. So, you know, in a sense, yeah, you know, it doesn't really matter where you live, but a lot of us feel homesick if we're away from home. So I was one of those people. So I felt a little bit better once I moved back here. So this is again one of those, I think I've done a video on this, making journal toppers or designing a page that you can glue on top of a journal or in the journal. And I decided to use one of them in this journal. And again, a butterfly. This is a real butterfly. I found it in my garden. It was unfortunately dead, and yeah, it's sad, but I kept it. At least this way it's going to stay there. And just a tag that I've done ages ago, and I never knew where to put it, but with the colors it just went really well here. Okay, now here we have a dragonfly and tree. Yeah, I love dragonflies. I've done a little sketch and a watercolor drawing on this book page, and just a quick, really like a sketch type, and that's a real dragonfly wing. Yeah, I found one near the pond. Unfortunately died. I don't know, maybe the cats got to it, and I just kept one of the wings because they're really beautiful. And so there's several of them that come, and this one is a little bit different than that, but it rested on the fence long enough for my husband to take a photo of it, because usually they just move really fast and you just can't take a proper photo. And it's a smaller one than the one that I kept the wing. And here we have, if you can see, this is like a little dragonfly, you know, and its tail, it says dance. I love to watch them dance. They just do this like circle over the pond where the fish are. It's just, they're moving so fast, but they always go like this, and they stop and they look at you kind of, and then they move on and like that. It's just so, I love them. I love them. Okay, now here we have the month of August. Okay, this is me hoping I'll be able to go on holiday this year. You know, with COVID and everything, for 3 years we didn't go anywhere, and I just stayed home, and I had to look after my grandmother, and I couldn't really go anywhere. I was just hoping that somehow I'll find someone to replace me and stay with her while we have at least a few days off to ourselves. And I really wanted to go somewhere near the ocean or the sea. It's probably obvious from all of this. So that was in August. And then in September, my wish came true, and we actually went on a holiday. It wasn't a long one, I think 5 or 6 days, but it was really beautiful. And we took 2 of our dogs with us, and it was their first time experiencing the sea, and they loved it. And we had really beautiful time. And we went to Croatia. That's the name of the place, Brest. So I just picked some flowers there, and I used it here. And I'll just show you some photos. Okay, that's on the eco print, but that's that. I took a photo of the water. So when I put it in here, like that, it looks like a little window. And here we have some more photos of the doggies. That's Benji. He was so happy every time we take them in the car. They're just so happy to go anywhere. And that's Nora. Nora is actually Benji's daughter. So we had Benji first, then she was one of the 6 puppies he had, and that's why I'm saying she's a Siberian Husky cross. Her mom is a Husky, but that's her dad, and he's a, what's the name? He's a shepherd dog from Slovenia somewhere. I've forgotten the name of the breed. It's not that common, and used to be a police dog. Actually, his parents were police dogs. He's not. He was. We got him as a puppy. It's just a leaf that I picked up when we were there. Okay, so here I used one of the little stones that I picked up on the beach, and I just wrapped it with some wire, and I added a charm. Here again we have doggies having a bath, having a swim. They loved water, although they couldn't understand why it was salty. And I found this quote online, and it says, and at the end of the day, your feet should be dirty and your hair messy and your eyes sparkling, by Shanti. So it is really true, especially for my dogs. I have so much fun. Okay, and here I wrote the menu. Oh, so yeah, we were there for 5 days, and we had gnocchi every day, but different flavor. We decided that's, yeah, something we wanted to try. And here it says, I see trees so green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. That's a song. Forgotten the name of the artist, but I'm sure you know it. It's a really old song and a really famous one. Yeah, I love this effect. I used a die cut of these little houses that I glued. I think I then used just ordinary glue stick, and I put down tissue paper over, and it made all wrinkly, and then I used some ink and some gold on top, and it worked really well. I love the result. Okay, and then here again, I'll just take all of this out to show you. I have the same thing going on here, but this here was done just with watercolors and book pages, and I was going to do a video on that, and I have no idea why I didn't. I still might do it sometime next year. And it's like a triple belly band. So here, just one of the postcards from there that I bought and I didn't send. And this is a photo, the view of the sea. I took this photo when I was there. And it says here, it's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. Henry David Thoreau. I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, sorry. Okay, now this is just from a magazine. And it's about, this text is about how we don't know how to relax. You know, you go on holiday and your mind is still racing like 100 miles an hour, thinking I should do this, I should do that. It's like, we don't know, or at least I don't know how to relax anymore. I just, you know, and just enjoy the day. And probably the first 3 days of the holidays, I was still as if I'm not on a holiday. I just could not relax. It's only the last day when we were supposed to go back, and that's when I finally relaxed. So I guess next year I should take a longer break. These are the little places or towns or villages that we visited there. While we were there, every day we'd go for coffee to a different place, and it says here Podgora almost, because we missed the turn. So we didn't end up going there, but we watched it from the road, and it's a really lovely Adriatic coast there. It's just beautiful. Okay, now October came, and I love autumn. I love all the leaves, and obviously I've worked a lot in my nature journal at the time, so I think this entry is all about that. Let's see, just some dried flowers that I glued on top of a handmade paper. I decided to keep this one. More dried flowers here. Oh, they're the jelly prints with leaves. And here, oh, this is a specimen card from last year, not this year, but it's there. This is another jelly print. Yeah. And it says here, I open myself to my love of nature, because I really love nature. Okay. So I'm sharing a lot about myself in this journal. A year ago, I would have been really uncomfortable doing this, but, you know, I feel okay to share with you what's going on in our life at the moment. So here we have come to October, and I put the specific date. And this month, I have to say, I experienced something really traumatic. I only said this to a few people, and I didn't mention it in the videos that I was recording at the time because it was just too traumatic for me to speak at the time. I actually injured my left eye working in the garden with an garden trolley, and I ended up in hospital, and it sliced through my left eyelid, upper eyelid, and didn't damage my eyesight at the time, but now I can see I don't see as well. I need new glasses, and the scar is gone. It's just a little bit of pain from time to time, but at the time I was terrified because when I first got injured, I didn't know. I just knew that I couldn't see. I was covered in blood, ended up in hospital, and they did surgery and the stitches and all of that. It was so painful, and yeah, but you know, it happened. I'm alive. Everything's fine now, but at the time I felt really, because my work is really visual, and I was scared, what if I lose my eyesight? It's not so much if I'm going to be disfigured or not. Of course you wouldn't want to look end up with a big scar, and luckily I didn't, but it was still really scary for me, if you know what I mean. And this whole entry is about that, the crack here, and you know, trying to heal. It says here, I can see now through the cracks in my soul. I just felt really emotional at the time, and why is this happening, and how could I be so careless to you know, I should have been more careful. Basically, it's my own fault, but it happened, so what can I do? I can only learn from this. And here it says, the more light I let into myself, the more I heal, and a rebirth. So basically it was trauma, but I had to get over it, and by doing this I finally was able to let it go. Okay, it's better now, and no point of, you know, crying about it. It's done, it's done. Okay, now we come to November, and I felt renewed energy. I felt good about life, about art, and I started doing actually 2 videos a week, which was a lot of time that I had to put aside for that, and I was struggling a little bit with time, but I did it, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it again soon, but at the time I felt like I had to. And here it says, transform, do not allow anything to deter you. So basically I just buried myself in my art and my work, and I felt good. It says here, renew, rebuild, reinvent. And I love these little cards. I used my jelly prints, and I used die cuts, and yeah, so I think they're kind of really cute. Again, a lot of nature. So this was November. Now we come to December. Oh, that December was really beautiful month. I've done the whole series on Christmas crafts for the first time, and I've done that Christmas journal or New Year journal for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. And I decided to do one entry in this one. And here we have, I give myself the gift of love, the gift of peace, and the gift of happiness. And I really love these. And then we have this flower. I also wanted to do a video on how to create this flower. This was done with a fabric paper, but maybe next year. It doesn't have to be this flower, the Christmas flower. It can be any flower, but it was really fun doing this. And I had this card from making Christmas cards, and here it says, may peace, love, and prosperity follow you always. But because this journal is for me, I just added follow me always. Just a wish for myself. Why not? A bit of self-love. And then another trauma. Just a couple of days before Christmas, we had something not so good happen, and we're still feeling the consequences. And I was having a hard time forgiving someone for something that they've done to us. It's basically, we live in a duplex house. We share a roof and one wall with our neighbors, who were very responsible and we used the same chimney that has two separate vents, and they were lazy to clean their vent, and they did not want to call someone to actually do it for them, so decided to just start a fire in the chimney. And yeah, we ended up calling the firefighters, and they were struggling for 6-7 hours to keep the roof from catching fire. And the result basically is the chimney is useless. It can't be used anymore. The wall cracked. It's really cold in the house. Lucky we still have the roof, but the smell in my office is horrendous. I cannot use my office from the smoke and from the fire. I had to move my office. And the reason I'm saying all of this is because I was very angry. I was so angry with them for not letting us know what's going on, and for not talking to us first about that, and later on for not apologizing and not fixing the problem. I don't know, it's just, I was really angry, so angry that it made me physically sick. And I thought I have to find a way to forgive them and move on. So that was about that. And it was really hard for me because the problem is still not fixed, because no one, believe me, here, it's holidays, no one wants to come and fix a chimney at the beginning of the winter, and it's really cold, and I have to keep the windows open all the time because I cannot stand that smell in the house. And yeah, and they're not gonna pay for the damages either. So it's, how can you not be angry? I'm saying, like, I don't get angry often, but when I do, it's just really hard for me to, it must be really something bad that someone has done that I cannot look the other way. But I had to, and I kept it in myself for too long, and then I've done this and I felt better, and I said, I forgive them for being foolish and for being irresponsible and for being selfish and all of that. I forgive them, but you know, I don't have to be friends with them anymore, because what they've done is they put our lives and their lives and the lives of their children in at risk, and for just behaved really badly and not even took the responsibility for it. Anyway, this is what I wrote down, and this was the biggest lesson of this whole year for me, I think, to find a way to forgive someone who's done something wrong to you. And I says here, I forgive them because I deserve peace, not because they deserve forgiveness. It's just I deserve peace, and I cannot live my life being angry all the time. It will just make me sick. Okay, and so that is about that one. That's how this year ended up for me. So yeah, just to forgive. Okay, and then here a few bits and pieces that I was sent from my friends, and also some of the things that I made by myself. And this was a chocolate box. It says, and this was on the inside, it says chocolate, a delicious cure for a bad day. And I thought that was so funny, and I actually cut it out, and I thought I'll just use it as a tag like this. It was just so good. And just a tag I've done a while ago that I liked. So that is my big journal with all the lessons that I've learned this year. And I don't know, I'm thinking, should I do another one for 2023? Who knows? This is like a chronicles of my life and what's going on with me and how I've dealt with problems. And anyway, but at the same time, it is art. So but yeah, art is about emotions anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you some ideas. You might have noticed I haven't really talked about the technical things, about how I put pages together. It was more about what I felt when I was putting it together. So I hope you don't mind. And yeah, I wish you all a happy new year. Happy, successful and healthy new year. And I hope it's better for all of us. And yeah, so I would love to end this on that note. I hope I see you again soon in my next video. in 2023. Happy New Year and bye for now.